What is going on, my loves? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and joining me on the short little video that I'm bringing to you guys today. As you can see by the title, it is a video on more intuitive eating. I still feel like there's a lot of other questions that I can answer for you guys in order to help you on this journey to intuitive eating. So that's exactly what I want to do today. I just want to go over a few things that might make this journey a little bit more easy to follow for you guys, just because I know it is a big transition, especially if you're like me and you have been tracking macros for a majority of your fitness life, I guess, your fitness lifestyle. Like I mentioned in previous videos before, I had tracked macros for about like 4 years before I decided to eat intuitively. And the reason wasn't because I was sick of tracking macros. I just simply felt like it wasn't fair for me to continuously tell my body what it should be eating, because the purpose of having an intuition and having those hunger signals that our body has is for it to tell us what to eat and tell us what it needs in that moment to perform its best. So with that being said, I just want to give you guys a few cues and things to keep in mind to make sure that you are eating enough and make sure that you are eating all of the right things and all of that. So with that being said, let's dive in. So I think one of the things that we all struggle with the most when it comes to intuitive eating is making sure that we're either eating enough or not overeating. And a lot of that really just comes from you being able to be in tune with what your body is telling you. So when you are eating, making sure that you're eating slowly, taking everything in, and just really paying attention to your satiety signals. You know, when you're eating, you shouldn't be eating until the point where you're stuffed or you're full. You should be eating until the point where you're satisfied and you're gonna be good for another 3 to 4 hours until your next meal. That being said, some people do like to have bigger meals. I myself like to have bigger meals because I don't like to be eating consistently throughout the day. So I'll normally have about 3 big meals a day, and that's more than enough for me. Some days I'll do 4, but then again, that just all comes back down to what your body's trying to tell you, and if you do feel a bit hungry that day. Our energy expenditure, which just means how many calories we burn through the things that we're doing in our day-to-day life, do play a big role in our hunger, because if you're expending more calories, your body's gonna need more calories to carry out its function. So if you do feel hungry some days, a big part of the reason could be that maybe you're on your period. You know, our body does work a little bit harder when we're on our period. So for women, it's normal to feel a little bit hunger, and sometimes since our body is kind of getting rid of all this blood, our blood sugar levels can drop as well. So that could be a reason why you find yourself craving more sweets, but it doesn't mean that you need to give into those cravings or give into those sweets, but you can have maybe like more fruit or some dark chocolate to kind of quench that craving. And then when it comes to undereating, it just comes down to making sure that you're not constantly hungry or starving throughout the day, because that's a huge sign that you are undereating. Or if you're losing weight consistently, or if you feel like you're getting sick often, you feel very lethargic, you don't feel like you have much energy, either you're not eating the right kind of food or you're not eating enough. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to watching if you are eating enough or not. And then another thing that applies as well is if you do feel like you just ate and you're still hungry, give it some time. You know, sometimes our body does take its time to digest the food and give us those satiety signals. So if you just ate and you feel like you're hungry, just remember that it's just your body taking its time. You know, give it a good 20 to 30 minutes, drink some water. If you're still hungry, then listen to the signs and go ahead and have a bit more food. All right, so some things that might be very important for you guys that are trying to achieve a specific physique goal and you don't want to track macros, these next cues that I'm going to be sharing with you guys are really important to keep in mind, because they are going to help you make sure that you are getting enough of everything in a day. And they're very simple to follow. I have shared them on my channel before, and I got them from Precision Nutrition, which is the certificate that I took for my nutrition certification. And I'll go ahead and put the link down below just in case you guys want to check out the certification, or just in case you guys do want to get the guide, because they do provide you with a guide, so that way you don't have to memorize these things, and you can kind of have that guide of how to eat enough without having to use a measuring cup or a food scale or a food tracking app, and all those things that aren't 100% necessary, and especially if you're trying to go into a more of an intuitive eating path. Right, so for these guidelines, we are going to be using our hands. So it's super simple because you do carry your hands everywhere you go. For men, the recommended protein portion is 2 palm-sized protein portions, so just the size of your palm. And then for women, it would be 1 palm per meal. And then when it comes to vegetables, your fist determines your portion size. So for men, it would be 2 fist-sized portions again, and then for women, it would be 1. And then as far as carbs go, we're gonna go with 1 cup portion. So for men, it's 2 again, and then for women, it's 1 cup size portion. And then as far as fat goes, we're gonna go with thumbs. So 1 thumb would determine your fat portion for women, and then for men, again, it's 2 thumbs. And then this would all be based on 4 meals a day. These are just guidelines that you guys can follow, and you can kind of watch what your body does based on these guidelines. So if you do feel like you're putting on weight, then you can scale back, maybe have a little bit less fat, maybe have a little bit less carbs. But if you do feel like you're losing weight too rapidly, what I would recommend is going for like 1 pound every 2 weeks. So like 0.5 pound a week. If you feel like you're losing weight too fast, then you can obviously add more food. And then that way you're not losing weight too quickly and making sure that you're not sacrificing any muscle as you get into your fat loss phase. So same for weight gain. If you feel like you want to gain weight and you want to put on muscle, then go ahead and add maybe an extra portion of protein or carbs or fats. And it's the same thing for maintaining weight. So it really just does come down to you really watching what your body is doing and being conscious of everything that you're putting into your body. And then as far as like the kind of food choices that you're making, I would just really recommend sticking to the more nutrient dense foods, because your body doesn't crave foods, it craves nutrients. So when you find that your body is craving something, that most likely means that you are missing out on a certain nutrient, or maybe you have some nutrient deficiencies. And then aside from that, obviously sticking to very wholesome, nutritious foods. We all know what foods come from the earth, and we all know what truthfully is beneficial for our body. You know, if it's in a box, I wouldn't recommend it. That doesn't mean that you can't eat it, but I'm just saying if you do want to make this process as easy as possible and as optimal as possible, then sticking to more wholesome, nutritious foods is not only going to benefit your body, but it's also going to benefit you in your journey if you are looking for fat loss, because you're going to be satisfied and you're not going to feel the need to reach for extra food once you have taken in your meal. So that is pretty much all I wanted to share for this video with you guys. I hope that was helpful to those of you who are looking to go on the intuitive eating route. I definitely can say that it's probably one of the best things I've done for myself, because now when I go out to eat, I don't really look at food as like, oh, that's too many carbs, or oh, that's too many fats. You know, like obviously I always go for the healthiest option because I just genuinely want to be putting good things into my body. But for the most part, like if I do want to go out and just have pizza, and I just don't have to worry about what I'm eating because I no longer have to log it into an app or make sure that I'm hitting a certain amount of numbers. So it's definitely very freeing. But like I've said before, there's a time and place for everything. So if you do have very specific goals and you do want to reach your goals within a specific timeline, then you definitely need to be a little bit more strict with yourself. But if there's no timeline and you just want to feel free from food and you still want to make sure that you're getting in a good amount of nutrients into your body, then the guidelines that I shared with you guys would definitely be very beneficial. So that is gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again for tuning back into my channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.